Okay, let's jump right in. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack a brilliant piece of literature that somehow manages to capture the entire spectrum of human existence in just a handful of words. We're looking at a deeply philosophical poem from 2014 by Mo Kent Wei, and it's called Like a Coin. Life often feels kind of like a continuous, unbroken line, right? Almost like a minimalist one-line drawing, where a single, fluid stroke connects the absolute extremes, all drawn from the exact same source. And just like the continuous edge of a spinning coin, our highest highs and our lowest lows are intimately connected. It's a really fascinating philosophy, and I'm honestly so thrilled to walk you through this beautifully structured analysis today. So, have you ever thought of life's most unpredictable turning points as just a simple flip of a coin? Think about it for a second. You're standing at a crossroads, something happens that is entirely out of your control, and suddenly, boom, life just tosses that coin high into the air. And as it's spinning up there, you have absolutely no idea if it's going to land on something incredible or something devastating. So how do you react in that split-second moment of suspension? Do you brace yourself for impact? Do you try to somehow fight the inevitable? Well, today's source material dives right into that exact feeling, that absolute unpredictability of fate. But here's the kicker. Rather than trying to teach us how to somehow win the coin toss, this analysis reveals how to find genuine peace no matter which side lands face up. It takes this big, abstract concept and makes it incredibly, intimately relevant to our everyday lives. And that brilliantly sets the stage for where our journey begins. Let's look at the original text of the poem, along with the first part of its literary analysis. We're going to translate the raw, stark simplicity of Mo Kent Wei's words for you before we dive off the deep end into the philosophy. So, the poem reads, I am war, I am peace. I am demerit, I am merit. Mother, may those who toss heads and tails be lucky. And that is literally it, just those few short lines. But, as the source analysis points out, these incredibly simple words carry just an immense, intense weight to them. The analyst actually calls this a masterpiece, specifically because it portrays such deep philosophy using the most straightforward language possible. It doesn't hide behind, overly complex metaphors. It just forces us to look directly at the dualities of life, right there, side by side. Let's actually break down that first stanza and look at how the author structures these opposing forces. We start off with the darkest elements of human nature. The author says, I am war. I am demerit, which in this specific context refers to akusula, meaning bad karma or sin. But then, inextricably linked to that, the author softly counters with, I am peace. I am merit, or kusala, meaning good karma and virtue. Now notice how the author doesn't say, the world is war and peace. He explicitly says, I am. And according to the analysis, this is an absolutely vital distinction. The poet is using the two faces of a coin to represent that these inescapable dualities are intertwined within humanity itself. They exist within you, within me. War and peace aren't just these external geopolitical events happening out there. They're internal states. Good and bad are not separate, isolated entities. They're fundamentally tethered together inside every single human being. It's just like how heads and tails literally cannot be separated from the single coin they belong to. We carry both of them all the time. So, after acknowledging this really intense, unavoidable duality, the poem suddenly shifts gears dramatically. The author cries out, Mother, may those who toss heads and tails be lucky. The crucial thing to understand here is exactly who these coin tossers are. Well, the analysis reveals that the people tossing heads and tails represent all of humanity. It's every single person who is subjected to the turning wheel of fate. We are all out there tossing the coin every single day. But look at the reaction here. The poet doesn't express anger at the bad luck or some kind of arrogance at the good luck. Instead, there's this profound flowing shift, almost like a single sweeping line drawn on a page, moving from merely observing this duality to an active prayer of loving kindness. The poet is wishing them well. May they be lucky. May things go well for them. It's this continuous, gentle yielding to the universe, completely devoid of any resistance. Okay, so let's distill exactly what we should be taking away from this analysis. Our source material basically breaks down the underlying philosophy into a few core pillars. First off, we really have to acknowledge that humans inherently carry both good and bad. Neither one completely defines us, right? They're just the two sides of our existence. Second, it's all about accepting the completely unpredictable turns of fate. That coin is going to flip. That is an absolute guarantee. Third, and honestly, this is where it gets really beautiful, the source explicitly ties this poem to the Buddhist concept of metta, which is loving kindness. It's about genuinely wishing well to others without a single trace of hatred, even when they, or even when we, draw the short straw in life. And finally, the ultimate takeaway here is the peaceful acceptance of worldly conditions, which is known as lokadhamma. The analyst points out that true peace doesn't actually come from fighting your fate or from trying to somehow rig the coin toss so you only ever get heads. True peace comes from accepting both sides of that coin with a heart that is completely free from hate. Which brings us right to the concluding text of our source material. The analyst wraps everything up by emphasizing how Mo Kant Nue somehow managed to convey such a remarkably deep Buddhist philosophy through incredibly simple words. Accepting Loka Dhamma, the 8 worldly conditions like gain and loss, fame and obscurity, praise and blame, happiness and pain, it's not some passive, defeated surrender. Not at all. It is an active, deeply peaceful embrace of reality. When you truly internalize that the very nature of existence is a duality, you stop getting so angry when tails comes up. You recognize that you literally cannot have the coin without both of its faces. Life itself is really like a single continuous stroke of a pen. Whether that line loops way up into a peak or dips way down into a valley, it's all part of the exact same beautiful masterpiece. And that leaves us with a pretty heavy question to ponder as we wrap up today's explainer. The reality presented in this poem is just undeniable. Life is always eventually gonna flip the coin. Those turning points are coming, whether we are ready for them or not. So when that coin finally lands, whether it brings you the merit of a beautiful moment or the demerit of a really difficult challenge, can you accept both heads and tails with a peaceful heart? Can you look at the completely unpredictable duality of your own fate and the fate of everyone around you and simply wish them well? It's a really profound challenge hidden inside a very short poem and a perspective that just might completely change how you view your next big turning point. Take some time to think about that, and I can't wait to explore our next topic with you.